Purity? Purity, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. I have joined using my phone. Hopefully it will work this time.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Oh, have you started? Or
Yeah,
should I start?
Pinit and Moses have just finished introducing themselves. Yeah.
Ah, nice.
Maybe you can move on.
To Moses, or
Moses has introduced himself. Helen has not. Yeah, so you can start with Helen. Yeah.
Okay, she can introduce herself first, and then I proceed. Helen.
Looks like she's not joined us yet. Yeah.
Okay, so we continue with the two, or okay, as we wait for her to join, I have a question for Pinet. Kindly how would you describe your workload as the founder of Bella Model Management?
Thank you so much, Purity, for that question. So I would say that I carry the business 100%. So I literally do everything from branding and communication, marketing, accounting and taxation, literally everything around or everything about the business. I am the one who solely runs it. And I can say that it's a very, very heavy load. And one of the challenges I think I've faced, and maybe this could help you understand how heavy it is, this year I have had to temporarily put my entire life on hold and just do the business. I live, eat, breathe Velo models. That is how heavy it is to manage everything. Technically doing the work of around 10 people by myself.
Nice. Okay, for Maura, I noticed that your Facebook page has 9,000 likes plus. How do you maximize the social media to fit your business? How do you do deliveries? Do you have a website? Yeah.
You're referring to Aweru or Maura?
I'm sorry, Waweru. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Basically, how to maximize your social media presence. Okay, I think it's basically presentation, because I think like social media is just like the display, or what can I say? Like the display on a shop. Like, cause like that's the first thing you see, or that's what will entice you to get into a shop. So if you want to have a good social media presence, make sure you have a nice presentation. By that I mean have a captivating, what can I say, captivating captions, have like take nice photos, and also engage with your clients frequently or engage with your audience frequently. Yeah, like you can post even twice or even thrice a day, that would be good. And about deliveries, a lot of people complain about delivery charges, but I think the best way is to liaise with the various matatus or buses heading to the places where the clients are, because you might find like sending a rider to a place like Kamulu or Joska from town would be really expensive. But if you can send maybe with like the matatus, it turns out to be really cheap. So I think that's what I have to say about your questions.
Thank you. Pinette, congratulations for being the most, among the most top models in Kenya. And with that, I have a question for you. You're welcome. How would you describe the major difference between your model agency and the top model agency like Elite Model, Ford Models? What sets you apart from the rest?
I want to say we have a lot of similarities and a lot of differences as well. Let me start with the similarities. When I started the modeling agency, or even before I started the modeling agency, I did not know there are actual standard requirements globally for modeling agencies. And I think the person I was working with at the time, he was very involved, and he really wanted to learn so much about modeling agencies. And he actually mentioned something that was very interesting. He told me, have you ever noticed that all modeling agencies, all the big modeling agencies have a black and white logo, starting from Ford Models, Elite Models, Wilhelmina Models, Next Models, all big modeling agencies have a black and white logo. And looking at some of the agencies that we had in Kenya, I was like, wait, how come they've actually never seen this? So just from the onset, right from the onset, I was like, my goal is to ideally work globally and have my models working globally. And I want to identify as a global brand. So I went straight on and decided I'm going to compete and I'm going to have that similarity with them. So I decided my logo is going to be black and white. When it comes to the differences, we are in totally different markets. They are in a market that is very developed. Models can actually do modeling as a career full-time. Here in Kenya, it's a bit different. Our dynamics are different. And even the way we view the industry, from anyone looking outside in and even from inside out, it's a very, very different perspective. So what I try to do for my models that I believe the elites and the Fords are not doing is I try to make sure that my models are trained. My models are very professional. I know they have professional models, but to our standards, I feel like we train models better than they do internationally. When you're joining an agency like Elite, you're supposed to be already a good model. You're not going to join an agency that represents Kendall Jenner and you want them to train you. They don't have the time. They don't have the energy to start training you from scratch. So what I do very, very different is I do offer training. Secondly, I do offer advice. I do give consultation services to my models. I believe that working locally and working internationally, there are some ground rules and some basic professional requirements that you need to know about. And these are things that are not spoken about globally. Something as simple, and this is something that's gonna shock all of you. Did you know that fashion runway models are the least paid models in the food chain? The people you see on runways walking on a catwalk, some of them are actually not paid. They're given clothes in return for that service. And this is not locally, this is internationally. This is you working Fashion Week and you're being told you're being paid in trade, we call it in trade, you're being paid in trade worth $3,000. So you have clothes worth $3,000, but you're broke. This is something you will not be told. You'll get them, then you're like, wait, what? I'm not being paid. Another surprise that came to me was that Vogue magazine doesn't pay. They actually look at it as a marketing opportunity for the model, because the moment you are on Vogue, then your career takes a 360 change. Everything, you get more work, more bookings, you actually get better pay from other jobs as opposed to not being paid by Vogue. So for me, those are things that I want models to know from the onset, so that you don't have an expectation when you're going internationally and you're like, wait, I'm on Vogue and I wasn't paid, you know? So I believe that the training that I give, the consultation that I offer, even just the interaction that I have with my models, those three things are what makes my agency very different. I treat my models like human beings. And even when I book clients, I ensure that my models are treated like human beings. Having been a model and having experienced very mediocre and pathetic treatment by the industry, I believe that I have created a cloud or a fence for my models where they know that every single time they book a job, they're going to be treated humanely. There's going to be transport. They're not going to leave their jobs very late. They don't know how they're getting home. They have not been paid. Their payments are delayed for centuries. So I've tried my best to make sure that my models are very, very protected, very, very informed, and very well trained. Yeah, I think that's what makes me different.
Okay. Helen Moura, can you please tell us what you do and how long have you been at it?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Liz. I'm sorry I'm late. My name is Helen Moura. I am a business development executive at Kenyan Alliance Insurance. Basically, what I do mostly is tenders and proposals for corporate clients.
Yeah. If I could follow up on that, I noticed at the Kenya Alliance Insurance Company Ltd website, it's stated that you're dedicated on becoming one of the leading regional insurance provider of all general insurance and life insurance. Could you please explain what that entails and what part do you take in it?
Basically, that entails ensuring that our clients are covered in case of a claim, to ensure that they get paid their claims on time and that they have full coverage, so that just in case an accident happens, we don't end up telling them that the certain aspect was not covered, or yeah, basically that's it. That's through customer service, right pricing, ensuring that even if we are still paying all claims, we still are making profits as a company.
Great. Moses, I'm still following up on the social media things since I've noticed you're really good at it. Do you maximize social media and analytics tools to analyze data and metrics to understand how your company is performing?
Okay, so what, how can I put it? Okay, yes, I do, but I could say how I mostly maximize the contacts I get, because social media just gives you the platform, like it helps you get your brand or your product or your service out there. And then now once you get the person's attention or the people's attention, I think that's now where the real work begins. So to maximize on my social media to the clients or the people I get, I ensure that I give them the best service I can, because once they are pleased with the service they have received, they will refer you. Yeah, because like you can get even 100 inboxes in a day, and depending on how you treat them, those 100 inboxes can bring you 1,000 more clients, or the 100 inboxes can amount to even just 5 sales, depending on how much you maximize on every interaction that you have. Yeah. So yes, I do use the tools, but I mostly take a traditional approach. I think that's what I can say about that.
Great. Kainet, you mentioned yourself that modeling can be quite controversial. So what is your process for handling inappropriate, controversial comments that may come about because of the industry that you are in?
Let me give you a bit of background so that I can answer your question to the best of my ability. I started modeling, and when I started my first modeling job, no one knew about it. No, actually, not even job. My first attempt, no one knew about it, because right from home, everyone had this perception that modeling is a decorated name for prostitutes. And I know that a lot of people don't talk about it, but they think it. So I did not tell anyone. And up until I did Miss World Kenya, that is when it was easier for me to tell people that, no, you can actually do modeling and you can actually do it decently. And that is also what inspired me to start the agency, because I had had so many stories of models being conned, models being abused, and it became so bad that whenever you tell someone I am a model, they already have this idea of what you do. I remember one time I was in Kenyatta University, and we were attending a forum by Ajira Digital. And I had just started the agency at the time. I was learning about digital marketing. And I met this person and they asked me, so what do you do? And I told them I have a business. It's a modeling agency. And yeah, so I just want to learn how to build a website and run social media and maybe just grow the business on social, because I didn't have an office. And he asked me, so ushaikuwa na sponsor? And I was like, how does me telling you I am a model and I run a modeling agency even bring the idea of a sponsor? So that's when I learned that it's something that people actually think. They might not say it, but they think it. The moment you introduce yourself, I'm a model, they will think that, oh, wow, okay, so this one just sleeps with white men. So what I tend to do is I have created a very clean profile for myself on social media and even in the industry. I believe that I'm very selective with my clients. I'm very selective with the kind of engagement that I take. I also limit myself in terms of work environments. So if you're doing a job maybe in a club, we are not coming on board. If the environment is questionable, we are not coming on board. If the job is questionable, we are not coming on board. If people can form an opinion from that job, we are not coming on board. However, should that arise, or should it arise that someone is claiming that, oh, we did this and it was suggestive in a way, what I normally do is I'm very open with my models, and I'm also very open with my clients and the people who we interact with, both physically and socially. I do lives. I used to. This year has been a bit of a tricky one, but what I normally do, every Saturday we used to go live on our Instagram account just to address these issues. So if anyone has an issue that they want to ask, they can always send us an inbox either on Instagram or send us an email. And then what I used to do was I would address it during the live sessions we used to have on Instagram. We used to call them Velo Talks, basically just talking about everything surrounding the industry, anything that someone has a concern about, even concerning our business and how we manage our models. I used to address, I am the one who used to go live. So I used to address it. So should anything like that arise, ideally I would use the same method. I would just go live on Instagram and have that discussion and have people also tell me what it is they think that, or whatever it was that made them think or assume that it was indecent or it had the implication of indecency. But yeah, that's how I do it. Yeah.
Great. Moses, no, sorry. Helen Mora, could you please describe a typical day as a supervisor tender operations at the Kenya Alliance Insurance Company Limited?
So as a supervisor, the first thing I do when I get in is to check on any new tenders that have been put up either in the government sites or the other private sites such as the Tender Soko and Tender Shore. If we qualify to participate in the tender, I usually allocate it to the different people who will work on the documentation and also request for quotations so that we can be able to work within the client's budget. Then after that, we do the documentation, make sure that everything that was requested for is there, and ensure that we have a competitive quotation and deliver. Yeah, that's the main thing. On other days, we do client visits, maybe an existing client who has been having complaints and everything, we do healing clinics for them. We go understand their problems, come up with solutions. Maybe it's their staff, for example, if it's a medical cover, maybe their staff went to a hospital, wakakaishwa sana before they were given authorization. We try to find solutions for them to make sure that the same doesn't happen in future and to make sure that in the next year, we retain that account.
Great. This will go to Moses. Could you please list some of the most important qualities for a successful entrepreneur that you believe in?
That's a very wonderful question, something that I'm also learning myself. But I can say so far what is helping me grow is, what can I say, research. Like if you're going to get into business, you have to be willing to do a lot of research so that you can be able to make calculated risks. And besides research, there is the focus, like have clear and well-defined goals. Don't be afraid to set targets, no matter how unrealistic they may seem, because I think if you don't dream, you can't really achieve. So whatever crazy targets it is you have in your mind, even if it's to have 1 million sales in an year, you go for it. You just write it down and like put a star or something, and then now research and find ways to get to that millionth sale or something like that. And besides that, there is humility as well, because you will experience progress in your business, and it might bring a certain sense of pride. You might feel like now you have things figured out, but you should remain humble, be willing to learn from your mistakes. And basically take time also. Like before you make decisions or make moves, take your time. So be humble, be patient, be courteous, because in business, especially if you're the one running the business, you're interacting with your clients one-on-one. So you should really be courteous with them, be respectful with them. But that also shouldn't mean that you should what can I say, that you should set aside your standards or whatever it is that you have in mind for your business. That if somebody wants you to sell them something cheaper than you can, like you don't stoop low just because you want to get a sale. It's better to stand by your price. Yeah, basically, and don't compromise on your quality, maintain your quality, maintain your customer service. Yeah, I think that's basically it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Paynet, how do you promote your brand?
I think one of my biggest successes since I started has been our digital presence. Like I said, I started the business, I didn't have an office. I only had a vision. I only had an end goal. And at that time, whatever was available to me was the internet. So I invested fully in that. I made sure that we have a Google presence. So when you search modeling agencies in Kenya right now, we still appear at number 1, I believe, for the past 2 years. We still appear at number 1 on maps, and we are at number, I think, 7 or 6 on Google itself, on search itself, like they're the ones that, the websites, we I think number 7 or 8, but I believe you're on the first page. I also made sure that we had a website. I think coming into the industry, I noticed that a lot of agencies had websites, but they were not updated websites. So you'd find they have numbers that are not working, emails that are not working. So ideally, I made sure that we have a working website, all the information that you want about the agency, literally everything that you want to know about the agency is on the website. If you are including our fee structure and everything is on the website. The website is linked to our Google business. Now, currently they moved to maps, but I mean, it's still there. And I make sure that we update our Google Digital every single week. So I do post once a week on our Google Digital. I've slowed down a bit, but yeah, we still create content there. And then, so that is linked to everything else. So our Google My Business is linked to our website, our Instagram, our Facebook, our LinkedIn, and our Twitter. I removed Twitter. So we have those 4 places, very, very linked. The second way that we promote, or I promote the business, is through my networks. I think I've been in the industry for at least 11 years now. And as a model, and then now as a manager for 6 years. And I have built at least a network of people whom I can always reach out to for work, and people who reach out to me whenever they need models and whenever they have a gig coming up. So if I'm doing production or if I'm just providing models, I believe I have built a network of people whom I can always rely on. And lastly, one of the other ways is I let my work speak for itself. I believe that one of the hardest or the easiest things to do as a business owner is to just give it your everything and then let it do the rest, because people are visual and people are evidence-based. They want to see, what have you done? How have you done it? How good was it? And they will always judge you based on your last job. So if your last job was really good, someone saw it and they referred you. Someone saw it online and they were like, wow, I want to work with these people. So I've always tried to ensure that whenever I go out to work, I give it my all, and then I use that as a reference point, whether I am posting that on our social media, on our YouTube, or even just talking about it, mentioning it to someone. Oh, I did this event. It really helps to reach more people, and also just get people asking questions about you, talking about you, and then eventually it translates into sales or into bookings. Yeah.
Great. And lastly, Helen, what do you think is the most important thing to remember in your line of duty?
I think in my line of duty, the most important thing is teamwork and knowing how to work with other people, because before the document, the whole tendering process is completed, you have to work with so many people, different departments, and sometimes even banks and other people like brokers and agents. So as long as you know how to relate with people, you'll be okay.
Okay, before I open the floor to anyone who would want to ask them questions, is there anything else you'd like to talk about or comment on? This is to Helen, Pennant, and Moses.
If I may, I would just like to add on to what Moses had said earlier about some of the skills that you might want to have, when running a business. And I think one of the most important ones to include, to add on to what he said, is discipline. I believe that you can run a business. A lot of people come into business thinking, oh, I'll wake up at 10, I'll leave the office at 12, it's freedom. And to be honest, you have to be so disciplined because your business is your employer. No one will ask you about your sijui rent, sijui haukufanya hii, haujafanya hii. No one will ask you those questions. When rent comes, you have to pay it. When KRA comes for you, you have to do your what is it called? You have to file your returns. If you're not getting sales, you're not going to point fingers. All fingers you have to point at yourself. So I believe that discipline is a very, very important aspect of business, even just of life. But you need to be very, very disciplined. You need to show up every day, literally the same way someone goes to work. You go to the office at 8, you leave at whatever time. Actually, you work overtime. So you literally have to be very, very disciplined. You do what needs to be done at the time that it needs to be done. Procrastination will give you an overload. You will be overwhelmed. You will be stressed out. You have to have an operating system that works for you and that you can be disciplined and committed to. Yeah, that's what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Felicity, we have questions in the chat.
Okay, my network is misbehaving again. Maybe someone could read.
Yes, I can help you in reading. Jason asks, what do you love most about your jobs? I believe this goes to all the three guest speakers for today. And maybe we can start with Helen, then we go to Pennant, and then we go back to Kevin. Yeah. Helen, what do you love most about your job?
I think I'll have to say the freedom that comes with it. The business development field usually has a lot of freedom. You get to go outside, you get to meet clients, you get to network a lot with people within the industry. So that helps open up your mind. You even learn from the people who are already making it in the industry. So yeah, I think that's the part that I love the most about my job. And also you get to solve some people's problems, especially the clients. Most people are not well informed about insurance. So you find that when they are taking a policy, they don't have a lot of information. And when they're making a claim, they start saying, oh, I was not told this, I was not told that. So when you get to tell them that these are the loopholes, this is what you need to do to prevent you having a declined claim, yeah, I think that makes me happy.
Thank you so much, Helen. Pinit?
I believe I am driven by the uncertainty of it. I believe that not knowing what will happen tomorrow is the best thing about my business. I really enjoy just waking up on a fresh slate every single day, fresh page. You start afresh and you don't know what you're going to create. You're going to, whatever that day brings, you're just gonna, create something amazing from it. So I love the uncertainty that my business brings. I think that is the one thing that I really, really love about my business.
Thank you, Pinit. And lastly, Moses?
Okay, I think I'll have to change my name. Nasikia leo nimeitwa Mwaura, nimeitwa Kevin. So I think I just have to take up the name Kevin Mwaura. But anyway, I think what I love most about my business, or what really brings me joy about my business, is the client feedback. Like seeing the joy and the responses that my clients get when they receive their ordered packages. It just does it for me. Like it makes me like it does a lot. Like seeing how happy people are, like people have been able to reconcile with their spouses, with the items we make. People have proposed to people and gotten a yes with the items we make. So like sa kusikia hivo, it just makes me so happy. And yeah, because we put a lot of heart in our business, and we are glad to see that people are appreciating what we are doing.
Wow. Thank you so much, Moses. With regards to the names, don't worry. Today you'll get baptized a lot. And then we have other questions. I see Jason asks, what led you to start your companies? And also, Jeff asks, what would be the ideal trajectory in your careers from where you are now? So we can take those two first, and then will be followed by another two set of questions, and we'll close at that point. Yeah, so the first two questions is, what led you to start your companies, and what would be the ideal trajectory in your careers from where you are now? We'll go again the same way we did before. So we'll start with Helen, then Pinit, and then Moses. Helen?
I think that one was directed to Pinit and Moses. The one for starting your companies. If I can answer the other one from Jeff on the trajectory of my career, is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
So when I joined Kenyan Alliance, I joined as an underwriter, and I was sure that I want to stay in that lane because I studied actuarial science in school, and I thought I'd either be in underwriting or the actuarial department. But after being in the industry and working for 3 years there, I've realized I don't want that. I am more focused on business development and marketing. Like that's where I just want to focus on. And moving forward, I am concentrating just on being in the marketing department. So maybe becoming a marketing manager one day and eventually principal officer of a company. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Helen. And then Pinit?
What led me to start my business was frustration. Having been a model for at least 4 years before I started the business, it was frustrating to not know where to go for information. No one is telling you anything. Everyone is against you. Everyone is fighting you. Literally, the entire industry is trying to get you out. And there was such a huge gap between the models who were there, whom I found, and us who are just starting in, who are just coming in. And I thought, why are these models still here? Shouldn't they be like going abroad and, you know, leaving the industry, leaving the work for some people? So I started the business. One, I wanted to train more. I wanted people to train with. I wanted a community of guys whom we could just work together and, you know, support each other and, you know, just offer the information whenever we could get it, auditions and stuff. Second reason I started the business was through this frustration. I realized that there was a huge gap in representation. A lot of models do not know how representation works by an agency and where to get it. And a lot of agencies in Kenya also do not know how representation works. I got signed in South Africa, and that's when I learned so much and learned that you can actually leave Kenya, get signed in London, and work in London. So I was like, why aren't the agencies here doing anything? And I realized they don't have the vision. They just want to make money locally. So that was the second reason I started the business. And the third reason was because everyone begged me to start the agency. I was still modeling. I still wanted to do modeling by myself, but everyone was like, Bennett, you've just been training us. Why don't you just make this official? Took me a year to settle, to give in, but I did, and I have no regrets. I totally love what I do. It gives me fulfillment to see my models. Now I have a model in London, and I have a model in South Africa, and one who's leaving soon. So it gives me so much fulfillment. I have no regrets whatsoever. So those are the three reasons why I started the business. Trajectory, I would really love to have a lot more models from Kenya working internationally. I believe that we have seen a few models going international on their own accord, literally financing themselves to London, to Milan, to South Africa, to New York, just to Paris, just so that they can do modeling. It would be nicer to have someone from home working, or even having an office in, you know, those big capitals or those big cities, so that our models can work anywhere in the world. You can work in Kenya, you can go to London, you can be booked anywhere in the world. So my ultimate goal will be to have an office in Africa, an office in Paris, an office in Milan, an office in New York. Those three places. Yes.
Wow, that's really insightful. Thank you so much, Bennett. Moses?
What motivated me to start the business? So there is money, obviously. That was among the most important things, because I was at a point where I needed to make money, and really fast. Besides that, to the path I chose, I noticed that there isn't affordable quality jewelry in the market. Lots of things come from China, and they don't has it last long, and they can't really be customized. So I saw a gap. I decided to fill it by providing affordable and quality luxury. That's what I'd say. Yeah, and so far so good. And where I see the business branching out, hopefully going even like opening branches in other cities in the country, and also in other cities in the continent, and also finding our way around shipping overseas as well. And yeah, making ourselves a well-known brand, just not just in Kenya, but all over the continent and the world.
Wow, thank you so much, Moses, Bennett, and Helen. Our last question comes from Scholar Mulama, and it goes to Bennett and Moses. And the question is, what is the one mistake that you made while starting that you would caution someone else trying to start their own business? So what is that one mistake that you made while starting your business that you would caution someone to watch out for while starting their own business? We can start with Moses.
Okay, what I will say, build your credibility. I think that's the most important thing because for anybody to pay you, they have to be sure that you are credible. Like for my case, we get a lot of our orders. Like I can almost say we are in Nairobi, but the orders we get from outside the county amount for almost 60 to 50% of the orders we get. So you have to make sure you're credible, like find ways to make yourself credible. Because if people don't find you credible, whether it's a service or a product you're offering, they just won't pay you. So like find ways to present yourself as somebody credible. And I think that's the challenge I had, because I would get clients from outside the county and they would be like, tunajuaje kutumia pesa utazima simu or something like that. But I found a way around it. And yeah, so credibility is very key, especially if you want to get paid. Make sure you are credible or you appear credible.
Thank you, Moses. Pinet?
I think one of the biggest mistakes that I made when starting there are many, but the one that I really want to mention, and I hope it helps someone, is don't listen to people. Honestly, I started my business alone and started incorporating people along the way because I felt like I did not know simple things like branding and marketing and accounting. I didn't know these things. So I started inviting people. So you will handle this, you will handle this, you will handle this. And I thought I was being very democratic by allowing them to ideally run their departments. So if this is your job, you run it fully. Unfortunately, what happened then was people were all talk, like literally they were all talk and they were not doing anything. And I ended up spending so much money and resources to just keep fueling whatever it is they were telling me. I printed business cards that nowadays I look at in the house and I'm like, why was I even doing this? I printed t-shirts, I literally did so much for nothing. I didn't even need roll-up banners. I was doing things prematurely because I didn't know any better. And I thought that the people I had around me knew. Unfortunately, they also didn't know any better. So before you allow your business to involve other people, make sure that you run it yourself. Give yourself some time, unless you have a really good partner. You and another person, 2 people, I think that works. But if you're thinking of having a team of people, maybe take some time first to really, really, really understand your business first. Really understand how your business operates. Create an operating system by yourself so that you know this is the sales process. This is the invoicing process. This is the accounting process. This is the taxation process. This is the marketing process. This is our business language. This is what our brand story is. This is what we are communicating as a brand. So that when people come into your business, they're not coming in to tell you what you should be doing. They're coming in, buying into the idea. They're buying into the story. They're actually the ones who are coming to join what you already have, not them helping you create it. Because at the end of the day, as a business owner, you are the vision bearer. If people then try to impose their own visions on your brand, you might lose track of where you're going. So that is what happened to me. And I would advise anyone who wants to go into business, please run the business, run everything, know everything. Soma, do research, read accounting, like I am insisting on taxation because KRA came for me last year. So read these things, know them by heart, know how your business operates, your accounting process. You're the one who's supposed to know how much money your business makes in a good year, in a bad year, in a good month, in a bad month. Know all those things so that when you bring people on board, you're not losing money because you didn't know. You can ask questions about social media and say, I have gone through the analytics. Why is this and this and this and this like this? Not someone coming to tell you, oh, it's like that because you don't know. They try to feed you things. So I would say before you get a team, be the business, be the person on ground, do everything. And then eventually you can now have a team. I'm now doing it in reverse. I started in a team, now I'm alone. I should have done this. I should have been alone before getting the team. So now I'm alone. I have learned so much in these past 3 years that I've been alone, running the business alone, that I believe that maybe in the next year or so, I'll be able to now start incorporating people. But I'd advise go it alone first and then bring in the team later. Yeah.
Thank you, Pennet. Moses?
Yes.
Our next question is, if you were given the option of employment over your current roles, would you take it? Why or why not?
What I can say about that, even before I began the business, it's a question I asked myself. I asked myself, like, if right now I got a job maybe paying me 50,000 or 60,000 a month, would I, like at this point, others just that biashara, like I haven't even started the business, like I just have the idea. But there was an opportunity of employment that had presented itself that would have made me forsake or forget the idea. But I just sat down as a man and thought to myself, if I'm to branch out in this form of employment, there is a bit of security, but the growth might not be as I expect. But if I do get into business, the growth is unlimited. As much as there is a lot of work to it, the sky isn't even the limit. So if I had the option of employment, I would not go for it. And the reason is because business, from the way I understand it, is not limited, because right now, as much as I do deal with jewelry and gift items, there's really nothing I can't do because I have the basic concepts of business. So even if I'm to get into building supplies or even some sort of service industry or whatever, I already have the concepts that are required to run a business, to build it and to push it forward. So I'd still stick with business, even if I would get, not unless the job would be paying me $500,000 a month. Otherwise, I don't think I'd leave business.
Thank you, Moses. Pennet, if you are given the option of employment over your current role, would you take it?
I have been employed before. I think I was employed for 3 months. At that time, I had started the business, but it was hard. It was terrible. It was bad. So when I was employed, like I said, I was employed for 3 months. And then in those 3 months, I realized that, no, I don't want to be employed. I believe in creating. I believe in creating. So if I was given the option of being employed, I don't think I would take it. I have grown in so many ways, to a point, sometimes people ask me, so what do you do? I feel like I don't know what I do. I can do everything. I can do marketing, I can do social media, I can do accounting, I can do literally, I'm even a psychologist at some point. So I believe that the business has really opened my eyes and exposed me to so many things that I wouldn't be exposed to if I was employed. But then again, that depends on the industry I'd be employed in. But given the chance or given the choice to forsake my business, no. I would stay with the business. I'll stay with the business. I love the thrill of it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Pinet and Moses, for your answers. That marks the end of our questions. I see Cornell has his hand up, but I kindly ask that we move on to the next section because we are 22 minutes past our closing time, and I kindly ask for your indulgence for the extra time that we are going to take. Nevertheless, Cornell, get in touch with Nicholas. He'll be able to give you the contacts to our guest speakers for today, and you'll be able to engage with them. Yes. Purity, if you can hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you can conclude with a vote of thanks, and then you'll move to the next section. Yes.
Okay, thank you for our guests and speakers for the very informative session. I have learned a lot, and with that, I would like to close it at that. You can take it over.
Fantastic. And thank you so much, Purity, for moderating today's session, despite the challenges with your network. Moving on swiftly, we'll go to the announcement. And for today's announcement, allow me to select Vivian Lispa. Please read for us the announcement. Vivian, if you can hear us. It looks like she's not with us.
I'm here. Sorry, I was just having a bit of a challenge.
Okay, go ahead.
So thank you, Super. Announcements. The International Service Committee would like to remind you to register your attendance for all the external Rotary and Rotaract meetings and events that you attend. Please do so using the Google Sheet form shared in the WhatsApp group's bio. This applies to our members and our guests. When you attend any meeting, please just register your attendance, rather external meetings, register your attendance on that link. Secondly, RCNC invites you to an open day with an aim to have fun, to interact and share ideas on which Rotaract. The event will be held on Saturday, 24th September 2022 at National Arboretum from 1:30. Charges are 250. Payments are made to the secretary's line, plus 254716314659. For further details, kindly contact Rita Mogora, plus 254702661690, or Paul Courier, plus 254725661321. The finance director wishes to remind you to keep on sending your membership dues. You can send your payments through Absa Bank, paybill number 303030, account number 2022-62-73-95. Alert the finance team afterwards for recording purposes. Our next meeting will be held on 4th October 2022 from 6:30 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vivian, for reading our announcements for this evening. At this point, I welcome any visiting Rotaractor or Rotarian who has an announcement, and they can unmute and share with us. Silence means we have no additional announcement. Thank you so much, Vivian, for leading this section. And we'll move on to our next section, which is the Sergeant at Arms. And this is where we get to share what we are happy about or what we are sad about. And all the monies collected go to support our community service projects. And to start us off, I see the immediate past president, although she left, she said that, unfortunately, I have to leave, but I will give 3 happy $50, one for each speaker. So on behalf of the immediate past president, Ruth Kihoro, she has given 3 happy $50 for each of the 3 speakers. Anyone else? I see Vivian has raised her hand. Vivian, you can unmute.
Thank you, Super. So I have 2 happy dollars. The first one, thank you, Helen, Pinette, and Moses for a great session today. Honestly, that was very educative and eye-opening. It's actually given me some thoughts also. Then my second happy dollar goes to Linda Ndanu. Thank you for attending our meeting, and we are hoping that you'll be able to keep joining us soon. Yeah.
I will. Thank you too.
Thank you so much, Vivian. Anyone else? Going once.
I have a happy dollar for Paynet. Yeah. Going into such an industry, especially when there's not much information about it by the public, it's a really bold move. And I'm happy to hear about what she's doing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Moses. Although she has left, I believe our representative from the professional and leadership development team will be able to pass that to her. Anyone else? I see Hemi has raised his hand. Hemi? You can unmute. Hemi?
Hi, thanks, Supeo. So mine's actually a sad dollar. A bit sad I didn't get a chance to ask my question, but Haiduru. Anyway, it's been a really informed session. I've personally learned a lot, although I had some, just had some cobwebs I wanted to ask and maybe disagree a bit with, but nothing out of the ordinary. But thanks for an informative session from all the guests who are speaking today. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Hemi. And maybe let me turn that sad dollar into a happy dollar by buying you airtime. So I'll buy you airtime to ask your question. Karibu. Hemi? Are you still with us?
Hi, hello.
Yes. I bought you airtime.
Sorry. Okay, so I've seen Paynet has left though, so I don't know. Do I still ask or do I just follow it?
A question that you felt it would be best addressed by her?
Yes, because it was actually in that industry specifically.
Okay, then I think you'll have to connect with her. She's a member of one of the public relations committee. Otherwise, you can get in touch with her through Nicholas, who is the professional and leadership development director. Yes.
Oh, okay. But thanks for the airtime though.
Yes, I will send the airtime to Alice Mary Kimani, our secretary. Yes. Anyone else? Awesome. That brings us to the end of our our SAA section. Thank you so much, everyone, for contributing to this section, which all the funds collected go to support our community service projects. And lastly, we come to the end of our meeting, and I'm truly grateful for all of you who've been able to join us this evening. Our president and the vice president, and also the president nominee, among other members of this club, were not able to join us today because they went to support one of our members who lost his dad. So thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to having you in the forthcoming meetings and events of our club. Don't forget to engage us on social media by liking and sharing our content. And also you can increase our impact by becoming a guest, joining a committee, and attending our meetings and events. Having said that, I'd like to recognize the attendees of this meeting. So for today's attendance, we've had 26 participants, of which 15 of the 26 were Rotaractors. We had 1 alumni, and we had 10 guests, bringing the total attendance to 26. And all the Rotaractors present were members of the Rotaract Club of Nairobi Central. And then we had also 1 alumni of the club, and the rest were guests. So in conjunction with the Rotaract Club of Nairobi Central, and yeah, actually that's all. I give you Rotary and Rotaract the world over. To Rotary and Rotaract the world over.
Rotary and the world over.
Thank you so much for attending today's meeting. We look forward to having you in 2 weeks. Enjoy your evening and have a restful night. Bye.
Bye. Supeo. Sasa.
Ndano wacha kukua noisemaker.
Nimeshinda huku. Kumbe online watu wame